Welcome to Ignite Success for First Coast Women. I'm your host, Snowden McFall, professional speaker, author, and coach. Here you'll meet terrific women who kindle new ideas, spark change, and fire up our community. In our show today, we have three fascinating women. Rachael Tutwiler Fortune will tell you all about the Public Education Fund and the upcoming event that honors teachers, the Eddie Awards. You'll hear from Teresa Meares, who is an extraordinary woman who's not only an entrepreneur but past chair of National Association of Women Business Owners, and she's an ambassador worldwide advocating for women. And you'll also hear from Nichols about the way to protect your family when it comes to family law and how to have a more amicable divorce. I'll share with you some tools on radical self-care. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Ignite Success.
Hey, let me tell you about my friend Craig O'Neill. He's the official photographer here at Buzz Media. He specializes in commercial photography for all those kind of needs. Check him out online at CraigO'NeillPhotography.com. And if you're lucky, you get a sweet lid like I have.
Welcome to the Fuel Your Fire segment of Ignite Success. With me today is Rachael Tutwiler Fortune of the Jacksonville Public Education Fund. Welcome, Rachael. So glad to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
So I don't think people know what the Public Education Fund does. Could you explain that for us?
Absolutely. So we're an independent nonprofit organization that really focuses on sparking innovation, relationships, and resources to power the potential in and around our public schools, because we want to make sure all of our students are supported for success.
How did it get started?
Well, the Jacksonville Public Education Fund has been around now for 10 years. We were founded in 2009 by a group of concerned citizens and local philanthropists that just wanted to see more community support for public education. They were interested in how we can have data and research available and really make sure that all of our active citizens can really play a role in supporting public education as well.
And I know that you are involved in gathering research and sharing that with parents and teachers and schools, and you also focus on best practices. There's something about Chicago where you're applying that.
Right. Well, we are participating at present in a community of practice led by the Chicago Public Education Fund that really focuses on best practices for supporting school leaders and making sure that we can strengthen our school leadership pipeline. We're all about school quality, and we know that all of our school-based leaders need a lot of support as well.
So there's a real partnership with you and Duval County Public Schools.
Absolutely.
So you've got something exciting. As a former school teacher myself, I was happy to hear this. You've got something exciting coming up on February 15th. Can you tell us about that?
Absolutely. So one of the areas of significant focus for us as an organization right now is attracting and retaining our great school teachers. We really want to make sure we keep them in the classroom because teachers have the greatest impact as far as in-school factors are concerned on student outcomes. So we have next Friday, February 15th, the Eddie Awards, where we'll have an opportunity to learn who will become Duval County's next Teacher of the Year.
That's awesome.
We've been privileged to celebrate, elevate, and empower 182 school level teachers of the year throughout the year. And on next Friday at the Hyatt Jacksonville Riverfront, we'll learn who will become the citywide representative.
Which is really, really exciting. What kinds of criteria go into being a Teacher of the Year?
Right. Well, schools have an opportunity to determine who they want to represent them, but we have learned through the statewide process that there are some certain things that we want to pay attention to. We want to see the impact that they're having on student achievement outcomes. We want to see how they are sharing their practices with their peers. We want to make sure they can be powerful spokespersons for the profession. And so we're looking at that, those types of things and a number of other factors as we support community stakeholders to determine who should be the winner. We're happy to facilitate the process at JPEF, but are excited to have parents, teachers, district representatives, as well as local business and community representatives as well involved in the selection process.
Now, I know one of the issues through time has been that there are not enough male role models and male school teachers. Is there an initiative? Do you support trying to bring more in, and how do you go about trying to attract more male teachers?
That's a fantastic question, and that is, factually accurate. We know that females are more heavily represented in the education profession. I would say that we support that through our research. We actually have recently put out an article about how important it is that we celebrate the fact that this year's top 5 finalists for Teachers of the Year are actually extremely diverse. Now, we did have one gentleman rise to the top 5, but we had all people of color,
wonderful.
Which was interesting and different.
Yes.
But we want to see gender diversity. We want to see racial diversity. We want students to have people in classrooms who look like them, so that they can see themselves in the profession and also in other careers as well.
And I know one of the things that you do is you have community conversations. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Absolutely. That has been a staple for JPEF from our founding. We are very big believers, again, in the community's role in determining what we need to do to better support our schools. We have been able to host kitchen table conversations in and around communities in Jacksonville to give people an opportunity to say what they envision for our public schools, what they see working, what they believe we need to improve upon, and what we need to do in order to make those improvements. We've also had the opportunity in recent years to really convene parents, teachers, school leaders to share about what they're seeing in their school buildings. So really bringing stakeholders together to bring their relative expertise to the table is very important to us.
And, I think one thing that people don't realize is that Duval County Public Schools are doing much better than they used to be perceived. Something happened in the past year about that, right?
Absolutely. We've seen graduation rates improve steadily. That's something that we're very proud of. We look back, to JPEF's inception, and around that time we were very concerned about the dropout epidemic, where 1 out of every 3 students wasn't completing high school in 4 years. And now we're seeing well over 80% of students graduate on time. So we're very proud of that progress, while we continue to double down on proficiency gains for students as well.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. And where can people learn more about Jacksonville Public Education Fund?
Well, we would encourage everyone to please visit our website, www.jaxpef.org, get more information about our research and ways that you can get involved in public education.
Well, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Coming up next is our Blazing Trails.
Are you looking for a new employment opportunity, an employee opportunity, a company vehicle, paid holidays and vacations, a retirement plan? Please visit jaxhandymanjobs.com. That's jaxhandymanjobs.com to learn more and apply.
Welcome to the Blazing Trails segment of Ignite Success. With me today is a real trailblazer, and she's from our own local area, Teresa Meares, who is owner of Audibelle Clothing, but also she's past chair of National Association of Women Business Owners. Folks, that's National Association of Women Business Owners. She's been traveling all over the world, and we're so lucky to have her. Thank you for being with us, Teresa.
Well, thank you for the invite.
So, past chair of National Association of Women Business Owners. I was on the board when I lived out in California of the local chapter. You've been traveling all over the world representing women as an ambassador and advocate for women. What has that been like, and what's been your most important agenda?
It's been amazing. Until you step outside of your borders and your comfort zone, you don't really have perspective. And one of the things that I talk about when I talk about leadership and women is that we need to make a connection, because when you make a connection with someone, you can see it from their perspective, and it allows you to have different options and different approaches to solving problems. So going and traveling and meeting these women in different cultures, understanding the struggles that they have. The first thing that comes to mind is, wow, we're really lucky.
Yes, we are.
Here in the United States, we have a lot.
We are.
And so, being able to meet these women and hear what their challenges are and how we could possibly bring help to them has probably been the most rewarding and interesting part of it.
I remember we had a foreign exchange program with some women who came over, women leaders from Afghanistan a few years ago, and talking to them and what they deal with on a regular basis. We are so fortunate in this country.
Yes.
So what do you perceive as being some of the biggest issues that we as women in this country can approach and help with women in other countries?
So one of the big initiatives that I am pushing for, I was assigned January of last year, I was appointed as the World Vice President of FCEM, which is the International Association of Women Entrepreneurs. And that's a 5-year term, so I just finished my first year. And our focus right now is to do a worldwide survey of women business owners. There's been surveys, but there hasn't been one where it's worldwide and it's through the two most dominant organizations, NABO and FCEM, where we will actually meet these women in Turkey, in Syria, and Afghanistan. We will be doing a worldwide survey of these women business owners and understanding what their current situation is and what their current needs are. Once we identify that, then we'll be able to approach it with knowledge and offer a program. It's not right for us to be able to sit here and go, I think we can do this to help them, because that may not help them. You don't know what you don't know. So our first step is to get that survey done. Once we get that done, then we'll be able to offer the assistance that we can. I think the most important thing is access. Not just access to capital, but access to us, to our knowledge, to our programs, and then show them what we've done. We just had the 40-year celebration for HR 5050, where women couldn't get a loan, right? So we can take that to them.
That's right.
Yeah. So those are the things.
That's exciting, very exciting. And I think research is so important because you got to know from where you're coming and what's happening. So you and your daughter Kayla started another company. You've been a serial entrepreneur, I know, and it's called Audibelle Clothing. And you describe it as just different from regular apparel, that it's armor and it's a confidence builder. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, so Audibelle Clothing, and the name came from, it's a play on the word of audible. So it's being spoken out loud in a positive manner. And so we changed it to have 2 L's at the end because it's Belle for girls. We have clothing for babies, we have clothing for toddlers, we have clothing for young girls, and we have clothing for women. And we put on positive imaging, positive words. So when you put the shirt on, you know, if it says be brave or be strong or strong women equals strong world is probably my most popular one. You know, you feel that. You feel that emotion. It's like that positive affirmation, saying it to yourself. Well, if you wear it on yourself,
it's even better.
It's even better.
So that's a very exciting initiative, and I'm sure your daughter is loving being part of this, and you're raising another entrepreneur who's traveled around the world with you. How can people find out more about Audibelle? And we've got some pictures that we're going to show of Audibelle Clothing. How can people find out more about it?
The best way to do is to go to the website, which is audibelleclothing.com, and like I said, the Audibelle is AUDIBELLE. And then clothing.com.
Well, thank you for all you do, Teresa, and thank you for being with us. We so appreciate it.
Thank you.
Coming up next is Success Sparks.
Enjoy doing Home and Garden TV with you, but you know, you can't take Home and Garden TV in the car, in the boat, or out jogging. Thankfully, we have Home and Garden Radio. Home and Garden Radio shows heard every single Saturday from 6 a.m. until 8 a.m. on News 104.5 WOKV. Hope you'll join us then. And again, it's News 104.5 WOKV Saturdays, 6 a.m. till 8 a.m. See you then.
In our Success Sparks segment, we have Summer Nichols with us, who's going to tell us a great deal. She's from Summer Nichols Law. She's going to tell us a great deal about the changes in laws pertaining to family law. Welcome, Summer.
Thank you, Snowden. Nice to be here.
So I know that things have been changing rapidly with legislation, and it impacts families. You have an orientation of taking care of families and wanting to have amicable divorces as much as possible, but there's some new laws that have an impact on that. Can you talk to us about that?
Yes, well, the most important new law that just went into effect January 1st of this year is a change in the alimony laws and how they work in relation to taxes. So for a very long time, many, many years, it used to be that the payor of alimony, usually a husband, former husband,
Right.
would be able to get a tax deduction on any alimony that he paid, and the wife or ex-wife would be having to claim that money on her taxes. Those laws have now completely flipped. Alimony is no longer tax deductible to the payor, and the payee no longer has to claim that money on her taxes. So there's a positive and a negative.
So the positive is that the woman doesn't have to claim it on her taxes as income, but the negative is there's not as much of an incentive for higher alimony for men to pay because they can't deduct it from their taxes.
Exactly, you said it. So I've been doing a lot of mediations lately, trying to work things out, and I'm not seeing the type of alimony offers from men before the holidays.
Yeah, which is too bad.
That I used to see.
Yeah. And there's another law about imputation, which I don't know what that means, but you do, that has an impact on women in child support. Is that right?
That's right. So I often hear from my female clients that their husband or ex-husband or boyfriend, who is now going through the court system to get child support set up, says he's going to quit his job or he's going to take a lower paying job to get out of his obligation to pay alimony or child support. That is just not going to happen. The court is not stupid. You need a good attorney to make sure to bring this kind of thing to the court's attention, because what's that's called is voluntary unemployment or voluntary underemployment. And in those situations, when a payor is trying to get out of an obligation like that, what we do is impute income to him. That means we put a number in his column when we do these child support calculations and these alimony calculations, and simply pretend he's earning what he has the ability to make if he's refusing to do so.
So you can use things like past IRS records, past salary records. There are documents that prove what he has or she has made in the past.
Absolutely. Past taxes, like you said, statements and pay stubs showing overtime that someone has made, and all of a sudden when a divorce is filed, for instance, they stop making that overtime. Usually that's a voluntary thing.
And that impacts being able to care for the children, take care of the family, all of that. So it has a big impact.
Absolutely.
So the lesson there is for families is to make sure that you're up and up about everything, because your records are public and people can find out about them. But you need legal representation in order to defend yourself around that.
Yeah, and in fact, there's something we have here in Florida called mandatory disclosure. It is a list of all the most important financial documents like tax returns, pay stubs, bank statements, retirement statements, that when you're going through a divorce or similar situation, you're supposed to exchange with each other. That's why it's called mandatory. People don't always want to do that. They're unwilling to do that. That's where an attorney can come in and we can subpoena those documents and get them regardless of what your spouse is willing to do.
Yeah, and I know sometimes you can even employ private detectives to find hidden bank accounts and things like that, right? So there's always ways to find out.
There are always ways.
But the nice thing is, I understand, in contrast to some other attorneys in the country who are very oppositional, you really like to try as much as possible to have divorces be more amicable. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, that's right. My belief is there is no reason, especially in family law, it's such a personal area of the law, there's no reason why you shouldn't come into a situation at least attempting an amicable resolution, at least proposing a settlement offer. There's no harm to that. And what bothers me is when there are some of the larger firms or some other attorneys that don't share my belief will treat every case that comes into their office as the same. They have a system, they have rules that they have to follow, and they will file a certain amount of paperwork and file a certain amount of motions and set court hearings, sometimes without even checking with their clients. A lot of times that's not necessary for every family. Every family and every situation is unique and should be looked at it and should be handled that way.
Well, it's refreshing to hear somebody who's not out to go for the jugular all the time, because I think families, children in particular, suffer so much in these situations. And this is a person that you've loved and you've been married to, so the dissolution of the marriage doesn't have to be so acrimonious.
Right. That's right. And that being said, sometimes it does need to go in the other direction, and I'm able to turn it on or turn it off. And I think it's important for an attorney to remember they're working for their client.
Right.
Whatever direction my client wants me to go in, I'm willing to go in. But I do always like to give my client lots of options before automatically going in a expensive and timely direction that may not be necessary. That's all it is.
So what you're offering is a really personalized, individualized approach to family law to make sure that you've got the highest interests of the family in your mind, first and foremost.
That's right. Well said.
Thank you. So how can people find you, Summer?
Okay. They can contact us at summernicholslaw.com. Call us at 904-322-7702, or look for us on Facebook.
Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you, Snowden.
Coming up next is Keep Your Fire Burning.
Are you looking for a new employment opportunity, an employee opportunity, a company vehicle, paid holidays and vacations, a retirement plan? Please visit jackshandymanjobs.com. That's jackshandymanjobs.com to learn more and apply.
In today's Keep Your Fire Burning segment, I want to talk to you about something that I see all too often with professional women, and that is the tendency to take care of everybody else very well, do your job with excellence, take care of your families, your children, your husbands, and your partners, but not take care of yourself. And the problem with that is then you burn out and you get sick, and then you can't take care of anybody else. You are a terrific woman and you've got so much going on in your life and you're doing so many things so well. I want you to be excellent at self-care too. What I recommend to my coaching clients that are experiencing this issue is radical self-care. So what does that mean? What does that look like? Radical self-care means really scheduling in time for the things that are important for you and for your health. A few weeks ago in a segment I spoke about sleep and how important sleep is, and that you need to get a minimum of 7 hours of sleep a night because the World Health Organization has labeled less than that a carcinogen, a cancer-causing agent. Less than 6 hours of sleep means that you're likely to have brain damage, it can lead to Alzheimer's, and you're much more likely to have a car accident. I don't want any of that for you. So please plan and schedule your sleep at least 7 hours a night in a cool, dark room, and set yourself up for success with your sleep. Water and hydration is an area that many people don't think about, and yet 80% of North Americans are dehydrated. That's a big statistic. So how does this happen? How come we're all so dehydrated? Well, part of it is our love of coffee. Coffee and tea and anything caffeinated sucks the water right out of you. So for every cup of coffee that you have, you need to drink a glass of water. Same thing is true of alcohol. Alcohol depletes your water supplies. So while you're having a great glass of wine or beer, make sure you're drinking water side by side with it. When you wake up in the morning, you'll find that you're usually quite thirsty. That's because your body depletes water while you're sleeping. Did you know that a 5% drop in hydration will result in a 25 to 30% drop in energy? So when you feel tired at around 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the temptation is to go for a candy bar or grab some food. But the truth is, what you really need is a glass of water. So how much water should you drink, and how much should you try and get into your body? At least try and get half your body weight in ounces in water a day. Drink that much. And try and drink it from a filtered water source, preferably not plastic bottles. 100 brands of plastic bottles have been surveyed and they all have little pieces of plastic in it. You don't need that in your bodies. So hydrate. A 5% drop means 25% drop in your energy. A 15% drop in water means you die. So you can't afford that. Hydration is really important. Exercise is another way to take care of yourself and keep your fire burning. And it's one of those ones that we let slide all too often. The key to exercise, and world wellness experts will tell you, exercise is the best panacea, the best remedy for stress out there. The key to exercise is to have fun with it. Find things that you love doing. My husband and I love to ballroom dance, and let me tell you, a couple hours of salsa dancing is a great workout. You're sweating after that. We also like to tandem bicycle. And I do yoga. Yoga is very important for flexibility. As we age, you need to be able to squat. You need to be able to balance, and yoga can give you that flexibility. Find an exercise partner, because when you have an accountability partner, your exercise partner is going to make sure you show up for that run that you have scheduled, or you go to the gym together. You might skip out on yourself, but you're not likely to skip out on a friend that you've planned to go with. And track it. You want to make sure you build in some interval training in your exercise. If you like to walk, which is a great thing to do, particularly in the morning, it will help you sleep better. If you like to walk, every 5 minutes or so do a sprint. You got to get your heart rate up. If you're biking leisurely, every 5 minutes do a race. Get your heart rate up. Do interval training, partner with a buddy, and schedule do exercise at least 3 to 4 times a week. So take the time to make yourself and practically apply all these tools for radical self-care to keep your fire burning.
It's not the fire in the fireplace that damages your chimney, it's the moisture. That's why the Chimney Safety Institute of America recommends an annual cleaning and inspection of your fireplace, regardless of how often you use it. The chimney technicians at Chimney Champions clean your chimney, then use the ChimScan video system to do a complete inspection of your system to ensure your home is safe. You can trust Chimney Champions to clean and inspect your chimney. Call 268-7200 or visit chimneychampions.com.
This has been Ignite Success with Buzz TV. Hope you've enjoyed our guest today. We've had Rachael Tutwiler Fortune talk about the Public Education Fund and how important excellent education is to each of our children and how we can attract in better teachers into our school systems. You've learned from Teresa Meares some of the biggest concerns about women around the world and how we as women can make a difference in the world. And you've also heard from Summer Nichols of Summer Nichols Law about how to have a more amicable legal situation and things you need to pay attention to if you're going through a divorce. I've shared some tips with you on taking care of yourself to keep your fire burning. This is a show for women about women, and we'd love to hear from you. So I hope that you'll take these tips and tools and apply them to your life and keep your fire burning.